bills on top of bills, bills on top of bills. Man. Is this what adulthood is like? Is this what manhood is like? We were just born to be debt slaves. We were just born to be consumers, only living for the next purchase. I know how it feels to be in that downtrodden situation where you feel like there's no hope, where you feel like there's no help. Where you feel like the financial burdens are just weighing down your shoulders. Where you feel like the mental estate or mental esteem in which you're in isn't the one that you want to be in. I know how it feels. It's a very lonely place to be at sometimes if you just are in your own head. Where you feel like no one even understands you, where you feel like everything that you're going through, you feel like you're the only one going through it. That feeling of downtroddenness in this modern day or postmodern society is unfortunately a feeling that many brothers have gone through and are going through right now. So we see the issue, but how do we alleviate the issue of mental illness? How do we alleviate the issue of financial illness? How do we alleviate the issue of physical illness? The part of it is through accountability. Setting a plan for yourself on how you will become a better man, a better person, day in and day out. Because accountability, it will work for you or it will work against you. What do I mean? A man who is accountable, he sets out a plan. He organizes himself in a way that he can accomplish the plans and goals in which he has for his life. And so his financial burdens that he has, he knows when they'll come. He knows what date they'll come upon. So he knows he has a phone bill that come on the 3rd. He knows he has money for it on the 1st. If he knows that there's a car payment that'll come on the 15th, he has money for it on the 12th. He doesn't pay things when they're due, he pays them before. And he sets his financial assets in order for them to handle his liabilities. And so he's working in a way where he's ahead of his bills, ahead of his financial responsibilities, and they're not behind him, and he's not behind on them. And so that's how being accountable can work for you. Now, how can that work against you? Just flip it. A man who does not plan, a man who does not put his bills in a proper state, a man who doesn't balance his checkbook, a man who doesn't know the amount of money that he has coming in, and then he spends it on whatever frivolous consumerist material that he wants. And then when the bill comes up, you're like acting all surprised. Brother, I've been on both sides. I know how it feels. You feel like you're making, on paper, like 70K, 75K per year. You feel like you should be ahead of your bills. And then this modern economy just comes in out of nowhere like, whoop! Nope. You think you had this money? Nah, that's my money. That's my money. And then the good old government take out a good third of the money before you even get it. So off top, that 100K that you might think that you might be making, it's about 66K. So off rip, you're working with less than you even thought you would in the beginning. So the 100K, depending on the city that you're living in. If you're living in New York or something, it feels like 40K, with the taxes and property fees and all the type of stuff like that. The price of living is just sky high right now. So I've been on both sides to know how it feels. To not be able to handle your bills because you feel like you have so much responsibilities as a man that just weighing you down. Brother, I tell you, one of the first steps to solving that issue is being accountable to the money that you have coming in and knowing in advance when the bills that you have will come, because trust me, the bills that you have coming, they're on autopilot. Someone else was accountable enough to plan for you to pay them. So that's why accountability can work for you or work against you. Like your phone company, it was accountable enough to set up a phone plan for you to have a phone. And guess what? They're accountable enough to have an accounting and billing section of their company to know who to bill, when to bill them, and how to bill them. So you, as being someone who's astute, should do the same. And so that leads me to another part of the discussion I want to have, which is entrepreneurship, which is knowing how to, make money faster, because you're working at these jobs. The modern day job is not paying us as men what we need to be earning to live in a society where it can be arbiters of wisdom to our families. You have to work 10, 12-hour days, and you come in and you see a check that's on like $600, $500, $700, $1,000, maybe every 2 weeks or maybe a week. It's still not enough because you're giving something, i.e. your time, for something that you feel like you're not making enough of, which is money. The foolish saying is time equals money. And that's foolish because time is infinitely more valuable than money. The time that you spend away from your family, you will never get back. The time that you spend away from your woman, the time that you spend away from your parents, your dad, your mom, the time you spend away from your brethren that actually love you and have wisdom to give towards you, that time is invaluable and you'll never be able to get it back. So it's incumbent upon us as men who are well-to-do for our community that we maximize our earning potential to its highest degree. Because you want to make sure that you're buying your time back. The most valuable thing that you can buy with money is not a watch, it's not a house, it's not a car. It's buying your time back. Because if you're truly men of the scriptures, you are valuable to your community. You are valuable to the people that are around you. You are valuable to your woman. You are valuable to your kids. You are valuable to your parents. You are valuable. You are the high value man, a man of the word. And so it's incumbent upon us to make sure that we're maximizing our earning potential and we're being accountable to the people around us. And so the blessing of the Lord maketh rich, because someone who is accountable is a man who is diligent. A man who is diligent in his ways pleases the Most High. When you're diligent in your ideas that you create, when you're diligent in all the things that you do, the Most High will make your way through. But you first must be accountable. Because if you're not accountable, the financial burdens will weigh you down, and you'll feel extremely stoddish. You'll feel stupid that whatever you're doing in life just isn't working for some reason. But brother, I tell you, there is a way out. I'm not telling you something that I didn't have to do myself. Because I'm a young man, like a lot of the brothers listening. And sometimes we have to go through pains, because we don't got no elder board that us as so-called black men have the ability to go listen to. The only foolishness we have is OGs. If the Most High bless you with having a good father in your life, take it as a blessing. However, most of our brothers don't have that. In a real society, real community, we have a conglomerate of older men who did what they're supposed to do in their society, so they have a plethora of wisdom that they can give to the youth. But in our communities, like, we know what happened. We know about the drugs in the 80s. We know about, the miseducation of the 90s. And we know about the misdirection of the early 2000s. So the older men who are supposed to be in our community, who are supposed to be garnering wisdom in the financial realm, in the spiritual realm, in the mental realm, they don't have it. So us as, well-to-do younger men in this modern day society, it's incumbent upon us to make sure that we are for the Most High in all things that we do. Because we want to make sure that our children's children have an inheritance. And we want to make sure that our children can glory in us. So let your children glory in your accountability that you have towards them. And so we realize that the more astute that we are, the better at life we will be. Now, ignorance of the law is not an excuse of the law. It's very hard to say to someone who's poor or someone who is less fortunate that the reason why you're in the situation that you're in is because of decisions that you've made. However, just because it's hard to say doesn't mean that it isn't true. Yes, sometimes we were dealt a bad hand in life, quote unquote, a bad hand in life. Yes, some of us might have a proclivity towards certain thoughts. However, the reason why you have a physical body is for the spiritual body to manifest itself. In the spiritual body, of our people, of, beings who are trying to engage in dealings of righteousness, is for you to subdue this fleshly body, which has the proclivity towards sin, and raise it up to a more astute spiritual life. So although you were given a bad hand, the blessing of the Most High maketh you rich, not just in this physical realm, but in this spiritual and mental realm as well. When we look upon the plains of the earth, we look upon the mountaintops, we look upon the beauty of the seas, we always see as magnificence. All we see is a beautiful designer doing his thing. And so we see the astute mind of the Heavenly Father creating and designing the world. And so as creators like our Father is, we are called to do the same. So when you go out and you create your business, be accountable, be astute. When you go out and you have dealings with people, be accountable and be astute. Make sure the things in which you're doing are for a good purpose. Hold yourself accountable, because this world will hold you accountable, and it'll keep topping bills upon your head, and you'll feel like, oh man, woe is me. You keep having relationship problem after relationship problem, and you're like, golly, what's going on here? You keep having things that just happen to your life, and you don't realize why it's happening to you. And it's happening to you because our lack of discretion. If you want a woman in your life, she must fit into your life properly. A man, a righteous man, he argueth with no one, striveth with no one, And so if you're in a home and you have no peace in your home, that's because you made decisions to have a woman that wouldn't give you peace. And if we understand that the Most High is against divorce, we should understand that if we want to be married, we should make sure that the woman in which we choose, we're taking our time. We're analyzing her, we're looking at her, and seeing how she fits into our life if we're trying to serve the Most High. You shouldn't be just gung-ho to get some booty. I'm just being honest. You should be taking your time. Take your time. Analyze things astutely. Seek the counsel of the Heavenly Father. And let His will manifest upon your life. So how do you hear the will of the Most High? You meditate on His Word. Make sure you have a relationship with His Son. and they gonna have some fun, if you understand me. So the things that we say towards each other, we should make sure that we're saying them towards one another in love. We're being accountable towards one another, and how the Spirit of the Most High wanted us to be. Accountability shall set you free.